Everybody, clearing. All right, let's take a look at a Divine Masculine check-in at this time. But first off, what do the Divine Feminines need to know about what's coming up? Ooh, so I just heard Divine Masculines are going through this kind of abandonment. Can be a dark night of the soul for some, depending on which stage of the journey they're at. But this is really overcoming the left for dead, like that finality to things being lost once and for all. So it's like the masculines are understanding that they do not have to take utter obliteration for an answer. They can, you know, I'm literally hearing rise again, like Easter kind of energy. It's like this connection can be redeemed. They do have to die to self. And it feels as though, you know, I'm hearing stubborn pride, I'm hearing ego, but I'm hearing also self-worth and just feeling that they're good enough, that it would be worth it, that they're not completely so messed up that they couldn't pull that off. It's like, God willing, show me a way, that kind of a thing. But they're starting to get this inkling that if they just literally start fresh, if they could be free from the stigmas, the mistakes, the bumpy, the turbulence before, that they just might be able to redeem themselves. In your eyes, feminines, what can we see here for what the feminines need to know about that? Stay balanced. Yes, it's okay to be guarded. This is the wounded warrior, but be in a neutral energy. Don't just assume that the way that you're taking it or how it affected you is all of the story, is what I'm hearing. Hear them out. Hear them out. When you know what they haven't said, when you know how it's been for them. So that does imply there is going to be a conversation about this where you're going to understand and you'll be given the choice whether that is something you can accept or whether in your situation it was too much. Now, divine guidance is saying a lot of past people, karmic, soulmates, twin flames, life partners, aligned ones. It's not just certain relationships where this closure or redemption is going to come to the surface on. So just because that's in the energy doesn't mean that this is your life partner, but this is implying that no matter if it's your life partner or not, this is a progressive motion across the planet where people are becoming more transparent and authentic and in their ownership of their past choices and perspectives before they grew and ascended more in consciousness at this time. So yeah, keep that in mind, that just because somebody's coming forward with remorse or with a feeling like they didn't make the right choice at one point does not mean that that is an indication it should be your person. Really consider that only you know what that is. And in many cases, it's going to be the final information so you can rest easy and fully let go. But let's see what we can for advice for the feminines. I feel like I'm doing this so early, I'm still kind of sleepy. Okay, vulnerability and lineage. Be present in communication. Exactly. Don't be all up in arms, feminines, because this is you getting your high priestesshood stripes. So this is you understanding with compassion what it is like for somebody else's experience of life, not just what you want to do to make it about you or to filter it through your limited perspective, because you've only been in your shoes. You haven't been in this person's shoes. This is your opportunity to have true empathic understanding about what something is like for somebody else to experience. And yeah, beautiful. Vulnerability cultivates connection. Have compassion in all situations. Be gentle with yourself and others. It's okay to be wrong. Forgive and be willing to feel discomfort for the sake of growth. Yeah, so some of the things might not feel comfortable to hear. The genuine times when this person thought they sincerely needed to go in other directions for their own reasons, for example. Their concerns about alignment and what they want out of life, or what they want with you, or what they would want with a partner. It looks like this vulnerable sharing is going to come up, and there's going to be an opportunity to not be reactive, feminines, but really say, yeah, there are some things. Is our love strong enough to overcome these? I'm feeling some tears just channeling that. So yeah, feminines, it's going to be the real deal. It is always an honor, a great honor bestowed on you if somebody wants to open up this way. So take that as your first blessing, that you've become somebody that's a safe energy, that a dear person in your life can bare their soul and tell you what's really going on in their thoughts about connection in general, about the two of you, all of that. You'll get your turn as well. But this is about being a safe space for that sharing from your person, is what I'm getting. So don't skip over what they're going to say and share for your turn. Really just, if it takes weeks, days, months after they share for you to get your turn, so be it. Do you want it to be real, or do you want it to be sort of an intensity that isn't easily worked with? Because you can blow it out of the water again, feminines, if you make a big deal out of what you're going to hear, or that person's sharing and you're not. So that's a message for some. That's not going to be for everybody, but do take heed if that applies. And then lineage, reconnect with family, honor your physical and spiritual ancestry. The past, present, and future are healing simultaneously, and visit your roots. So there's something, divine feminines, about your family right now, about generational understanding. So maybe parents, maybe children, or choices affecting those generations in your family line. But right now, your children are healing, your ancestors are healing. It's interdimensional because you're the seed point of that consciousness. You're the common denominator. As you heal with your masculine, you're also healing with your family lineage forward and back in time. And so connection with family is connection with your highest timelines and connection with your union. So stay with this receptivity that allows you to show up for others without making it about you, without taking it personally. You've come so far, feminines. You can really hold space. Okay, let's get into divine masculines. Thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for the divine masculines regarding how they are experiencing the connections with their feminines right now? What is even hidden from the masculines about what's going on that we can have a peek at here? What would the masculines say, unfiltered, to their feminines about what's playing out in their consciousness right now? What what do the feminines need to know about this? I'm extra tired today. I stayed up making a love songs, like romantic songs playlist, and I got deep down the rabbit hole, and then it was like 5:30 this morning. I was like, what? I haven't done that in a while. Okay, anyways, masculines. So maybe they're making playlists, maybe something's going on, but here we go. Masculines, what are you thinking of the connections? This card was in yesterday's reading. It's the I know what I've got to do, get down to business, making some changes, accountability kind of thing. So yeah, that first message about the masculines believing that they can show up correct, show up different, show up renewed, show up in their highest self, show up as the masculine that you deserved all along, feminines, that they want to be, that would make them proud, that would make their daddies proud, their mamas proud. All of that, they're letting go of trying to do it everybody else's way, and they're stepping into the ownership of their way, which is that leadership. It is the making everybody proud, because when we stop trying to do it their way, it really does create a sense of pride when somebody steps into their own empowerment. Even parents feel so relieved that their child is actually happy now, for instance. So masculines are really taking matters into their own hands regarding this connection. So they're clearing through what others would think. This is people-pleasing stuff. In the inverse like this, it's like coming through. I'm going to do this because I'm feeling right about it. What don't the masculines see about this? 7 of Pentacles. This is happening right now. So the masculines might not even be fully aware that the decisions they're making, the actions they're taking, are actually drawing lines in the sand. They might not be fully aware until a little bit of hindsight, being 2020, comes into this mix. They are open to compromise, feminines. So the masculines would say they're open to compromise. It's not so much compartmentalizing or just all or nothing anymore. And that's why they might not see that some of these compromises that they're doing will have a lasting long-term effect on the relationships. They might not see that until hindsight, because they're just, worlds are colliding here, and so they're just being fair to all involved, but it looks like they're overcoming some of the previous inhibitions about these connections because of certain circumstances playing out. So you'll take that how it resonates for your situation. But yeah, something happening right now. They are honoring the feminine and whatever else they've had pre-existing. What do the feminines need to know about that? You are their world. You're coming into their world. The worlds are colliding. This is where we get up and out of the world, and we do things with a higher guidance, with a more honoring, holistic approach. The world is a holistic approach. So it's systems thinking, it's solutions, it is compromise, but not in a concession sort of a way. It's a win-win. Like, okay, you want that, I want that. We can juggle things here and there, but it doesn't mean people are losing out. It means we're catapulting everybody forward together, because we're thinking of things outside of ego, and now really looking at what the authentic desires and needs are, and then just being practical and realistic but fair about that. So yeah, it's a vastly different energy than lack and losing out. It's a very abundance generating vibe I'm getting here. What are the masculines thinking of their divine feminine? The Tower. Something has changed overnight. Something about your divine feminine masculines has just struck you, and you'll never be able to unsee what you are now seeing about them. I'm gonna just snoop a little bit and see what that might be. I'm very, very curious what that energy might be. What is the theme that the masculines are having, this game changer energy? Something about the energy of options, multiple options. It could be on your side, feminines, could be on your side, masculines, that there was a lot of different paths that could be gone down, and now all of a sudden this one is laser focused, this one has suddenly become clear. I'm wondering if we're going to get more on that, or if this is just something for the masculines to delight in. But can we get any more on this happening that has caused the masculines to see this path straight forward? Now we're getting coming out of separation. So maybe a misconception, maybe a angle that the masculines had never considered before. Like, if they had a lot of opinions about why you act the way you do with them, why you show up the way you show up, the things you do, it's like you spoke their love language for just the right second, and they were like, what? Maybe they do love me. Maybe it is real love. That's what love is. This person showed me that love. It's kind of that kind of a shocking internal revelation that closes the gap between the two of you, that makes you more of a solidified choice, a viable choice, a realistic choice, an authentic choice. But it has to do with some shift in perception that they can never unsee. What don't they see right now? Nine of Pentacles, codependency, the wounding, the trauma, how that was the filter, how that was clouding what the masculines were interpreting with regard to you, feminines. What are, oh, here we see it. What would they say to you about this? I left because you told me to. So the masculines got the wrong idea because of some vibe you gave off, feminines, that they misunderstood as you rejecting them, you pushing them away, you telling them you weren't up for it yet or at all. There's something here that the masculines misread because they went into paranoia or their insecurities, or they didn't ask for clarity. It was from a previous wounding, previous codependent tendencies that you were giving off whole, healed, balanced vibes, and they thought you didn't need them. Something like that. What can we see for advice for the feminines? Just wait and see. Leave this one in the masculine's courts. Let them work through this. Let them process. Let them connect the dots. Let them rework the story. Let them come back around. It goes hand in hand with the masculines seeing that what they put out, they get. What goes around comes around. So now that they know better, they can do better. And these unconditionally loving connections are just the proving ground for that. What are the masculines feeling on their heart space at this time? They're opening their heart. This is the card of lack and shortage. In this position, it is now the let the sun in kind of motion. They're open, they're curious, they're wondering how else they could keep looking at you, feminines, if their misconceptions or their faulty interpretation where they felt iced out, where they felt like there was some insensitivity, where they felt like it wasn't full connection. They're now going to rethink a chain reaction of other implications. The Fool, yeah, they're taking a leap of faith to be curious. What else could I have misread here? What feels truly good to me? Are there any other things that didn't feel good that I was using as excuses or sore spots, or perpetuating my resistance, I just heard, keeping that self-fulfilling lack prophecy cycling in there. This is a leap of faith to open the heart and look at things from a different perspective. So, you know, when this masculine comes forward, really that is kudos to them, feminines. What would they say to you? Oh, okay. So it may have had something to do with jealousy or fear of competition. So your masculine has been a very jealous person. In the past, they have not found a true love connection, even as much as they've wanted it with previous partners or with you. They haven't done that work. They haven't overcome their insecurities to really discern what true unadulterated connection feels like. And so jealousy has always been in the mix. I've often said that until you come into mastery, you will always feel jealous because there will be room for threats. If you're in mastery and then you align with another master, that connection is pure and jealousy doesn't need to enter into it. It's not even a consideration because there's a trust and knowing. But jealousy is always valid to take a look at because it can very much indicate that there isn't an authentic connection, not on the deepest levels. Doesn't mean you can't get there, but it does point to a different set of awarenesses to be had. Jealousy in and of itself is not the thing to point the finger of. It's the reason the jealousy is there or the insecurity is there. And so, yeah, the masculines are admitting they've been very jealous and they've been a little bit skittish because of this competition, lack, and fear that they were in previously. something you have done has proven your love, your genuine love for them. And they are able to put down their jealousy, because it's not like they've asked you, are you going to betray me? They are seeing your character in a way that is trustworthy without them having to ask. Pardon me. What can we see for the advice? Yeah, this is progress. So don't take it personally, feminines. Just keep moving through the density of anything that's coming from your masculine side, any of the ringer that they've put you through, any of the testing. If you do want to continue on with this person, you're moving into smooth waters, out of the choppy times when their insecurity was adding too much drama into these connections or stopping them from even being able to deepen. This is a huge revelation for the masculines that's coming in, is how that inner insecurity or jealousy or misconception, they ran with it in these connections and got the wrong idea about your intentions, feminines. And I know that can be really difficult to hear, feminines. This is part of that keep an open mind. But for the masculines experiencing this kind of a wake-up call, the guilt or the shock that is hitting their systems right now about how wrong they got it and how unnecessary certain actions and words were on their part, how much missed time has happened, how they're feeling the hurt they caused you because they literally didn't comprehend that kind of hurt, because they thought it was a more fickle energy in the past, and so they didn't have the empathic ability to know how confused or hurt you were. And now all of a sudden the onus is on them. In this particular instance, it's really hitting them. So masculines, hang in there. That's your heart cracking open and your perception broadening. And so yeah, you will never have to relearn that level of consciousness again. What can we see in their heart of hearts for their feminine? Yeah, they see you, they know. This is like the bride about to, lift the veil. So this is life partnership. This is commitment. This is the act of that wedding veil being lifted, where there's no longer any confusion about who that mirror is, who that person is. So the masculines are coming in to say, I see you, feminines. I now see you. Oh, this reading. Yeah, you do, feminine or masculines. Who do they see? Did we have any doubt? The High Priestess. So masculines are about to tip their energetic hats to you, being in your mercy, humility, compassion, and withstanding the pummeling of their testing and their insecurity and their uncertainty, their fear. They're about to look you in the eye and say, I know you're on my team. I know you have my back. I'm so sorry for the way that I behaved regarding you, how I mishandled you. I was blind, but now I see. Wow, masculines are awakening. What would they say to the feminines? I need more balance. Yeah. They're like, so help me God, I need to get a handle on this. I need to come into safety. I need to uncurl in the safety of this love. I need to get rid of my stress. I need to take a chill. I need to stand down. Masculines are admitting they need to get a grip on some of their coping methods, some of their instinctual stuff, that fight or flight or freeze or fawn or herd mentality. Those things are the instinctual reactions when we're triggered. And so the masculines are observing that they have been heavily triggered in these connections and haven't necessarily acted with maturity. Yeah, feminine. So it's a mirrored thing. This isn't a session to just down on the masculines. If the feminines had known better at the time and not taken it personally, there wouldn't have been any kind of upheaval or ricochet of triggering in the energy. And so the feminines, some feminines in most of the ways have stayed the course, or you wouldn't still be connected with this masculine. But this is saying, don't be overly focused on just what your masculine is needing to overcome. You've got some things to balance out in your own right and not pin on your masculine. So yes, they have had this wake-up call right now, but you divine feminines also can continue to come into more balance, where it's not an eye for an eye, or you're not in this animosity or resistance or overly condemning or critical energy, that you're in this high priestess energy where be still and know, mercy, humility, compassion, it's all a work in progress. And how blessed that we get to connect with these sacred counterparts. Even if it's a soulmate, a karmic partner, twin flame, aligned one, divine counterpart, whatever you want to call it, or whatever it kind of is, with those descriptors, it's all sacred. Every bit of it is sacred. What can we see for what the masculines are wanting to manifest at this time? Yeah, they don't want to be single. I'm not getting codependency from this. They want to start moving in on you, I just heard. So they want to start spending more time. Doesn't mean they're ready to be in a full-blown relationship, but they're not separated from you. They're coming in from out of the cold, and they're moving in. They're closing in on their territory, I just heard. So they're believing that they could actually align with someone like you, with you. They're starting to feel the easiness of genuine connection, this filter of fear that's being removed. They're starting to, that awkward gag order, divine gag order is being taken away, and they're starting to feel more at ease in the concept of your energy, seeing you in the physical, being around you with other people. There's something about not having an energetic wedge between the two. They just want to manifest more ease. What don't they see about this? The Hanged Man. So the universe isn't going to allow the masculines to have more than they're accountable for. So things are not going to align if the masculines are not able to handle it energetically. So yeah, masculines, just keep balancing out and processing and coming into wholeness and loving your feminine and appreciating and being in gratitude. That's where you can receive more. When you're accountable for being grateful for what is and what has happened, more can come in the natural order of those growth path steps. But we have to see what has transpired with gratitude in order for more of that to come in. What would the masculines say to the feminines? I don't want to lose you. So on one hand, they don't feel they can lose you, but they don't want to mess it up anymore. They don't want to have another repelling experience, another cycle of blowing it apart. What do you need to know, feminines? Focus on the love. Focus on the love. I got that message a little while ago that masculines were going to take your hand, touch your hand, hold your hand, acknowledge that when you touch hands next, that's going to be a major sign that they have processed a lot of this, that they won't be able to physically take your hand until they have gotten to this place of forgiveness, of putting down their filter, of being remorseful to the point of changed behavior with how they have acted out in these connections. What can we see for the, is it the actions they're taking? Yeah, the actions the masculines are taking. They're really being sure about their wishes. They're going for it. They know they don't want to negate their feminine. What aren't they seeing? That this is what's bringing it out of choppy water and into smooth sailing. So we already got this card for the feminines about seeing a smoothing in the energy. What would the masculines say to the feminines? I just want you all the time. Yeah, They think about you all the time. They want to touch your skin. They want to take your hand. They want to do it right. They don't want to take more than is justified. And they now know a little bit better how to access you in a proper way, in a way that they're not mishandling the connections, in an honoring way where they're not putting that filter of fear in the mix. They've realized that even when they were putting that filter of fear, that it was because they wanted you so badly, but it was because they were in that scarcity, lack, competition, and jealousy. And so they didn't feel like you were accessible, even though you were. It was a shift in perception that now they're not resisting how much they want you. And now it's all smooth energy because they're not in resistance to what their knowing is telling them. You're going to see, maybe not right away, feminines, but it will dawn on you. It will come in. This is one of those creeper energies that kind of come out of nowhere and you don't really see it coming. And then in hindsight, you're like, hey, wait a second, that's not normal. That's not what has typically happened here. So yeah, as this alignment comes in for the masculines, you're going to see it bit by bit over time, feminines. They might not be a grand gesture at this point. It might just be easing in where it's organically available, where it's in flow. But the masculines aren't actively withholding those steps of progress anymore. They're saying yes to them. They're even being proactive. They are collaborating some of this crossover of worlds. They're facilitating it. And you're going to see this is a different motion for your connection. You're not so separate anymore. The masculine's actions are going to be showing you this. What can we see for the biggest challenge for the masculines? Yeah, the same card as we first got. It's like seeing the light that they have self-sabotaged. They're having a full recognition of the ways that they have shot themselves in the foot in this connection, in other connections, that they only have themselves to blame for missing out on a love like this so far. What don't they see right now? Three of Pentacles, all the ways. Like, there are so many ways that abandonment wound causes disruption energetically in connections, rocks our peace in life, prevents our abundance. So they're really seeing how it permeates all of their reality, but they don't see that fully. This is the cracking open. What would they say? You are my everything. So in the past, they used to have you on a pedestal. This is them taking you down off the pedestal and realizing that you are a unit. You're unified. The lessons you're learning together are not one or the other. It's a shared experience. They're learning they are their everything. Their connection to source is their everything. Their deepening perception of reality is their everything. You are part of that. But when you're in non-attachment and you're not coveting or idol worshiping, your counterpart becomes a textured part of the whole, not a idol worship, not a fixation, an obsession. Yes, you can celebrate and revel in that, but it becomes unhealthy if everything is placed into that person. It needs to be 360-degree living. What do the feminines need to know? Your wish is granted, feminines. Your masculines waking up. And you're going to be the last to know it because they're going to be the first to show it. So they have to show it for you to know it. But it's coming. Your wish is granted. I'm looking right at the way these cards stack with the sun and the feminine not fully seeing it. And then the sun like there while you're seeing this happen. It's going to come in bit by bit. What is the solution to this challenge for the masculines? Discernment of frequencies, really tuning in. Your heart knows, masculines. If you're in confusion or, not sure how to read something your feminine has done or said, or things you're worried about, that paranoia, the second guessing, the insecurity, drop into your heart and feel. What don't the masculines know about this? The Two of Swords, that this is going to show you through the maze. This is like a labyrinth card. In the upright, this is total and utter blockage. In the inverse, you're starting to see this energetic path of least resistance through the nature of reality itself, through all your choices, your actions, your inner thoughts, your outer reality, how it's all connected. Just keep letting it transpire, masculines. I dream about you a lot too much, they would say. So feminines, you've acted as a lighthouse, a beacon, a light in the fog, and it's clearing. And so, yeah, masculines, there's a reason your feminine represents the archetypes of freedom, of resilience, of unified energy. Is because they are a mirror for you and a blessing in your life. You manifested these connections that are so important and adored by you that it pulled you up through things you never conceived you were even bound by before you started making the changes to get towards this love that you sensed was a carrot on the stick. It is getting you clear enough from your karma that you can now just about reach out and touch this. I just heard reach out and touch faith. Is that Johnny Cash and 9 Inch Nails? Yeah, that's playing. Yeah, here's the codependency free. So we saw the codependency card twice, and this is the resilience coming through it. So this is the freedom. So feminines, stay in this lady in waiting, empress in the garden energy, and just keep sending out the right frequency, because your masculine is being brought true. That is the definition of true love, is when things come into alignment, where it's been sharpened, it's been refined, it's been purified, it's been made true. True love is a process of reconciliation, balance, refining, purification, aligning with righteousness, coming into authenticity. Those are markers of true love. That's how you know that a person is your match. When that healed version of you is met with that mirrored version of them. What is the direction in the near future? This love is coming to the forefront, and I'm getting to say again, you're going to be falling in love mutually, equally yoked together. One person doesn't fully fall in love with another person, and then the other one has to fully play catch up. You get to a certain point, and then what you embark on together is truly majestic, is what I'm getting. So both of you had to fall in love with yourselves, and when that alignment actually clicks, when your masculine gets out of the suffering and awakens on this level, so they're ready for love, they're ready to go deep, now we're talking. So this is like coming up to each other and being ready to go deep, ready to get to know each other for the first time, ready to really make love, ready to say, I'm all in, and you. I'm all in, and you. So that's in the energy. That's both of you saying it at the same time and going, Jinx, JJ, 9 of Cups. Keep looking for what you really want, because like we saw in yesterday's reading, all those things you thought were impossible are now about to happen. I'm getting to say after this next series of eclipses, you're really gonna see and feel it. It will really be evident to you that you are not where you once were on this journey, and that things are becoming way more fluid. Gossip only hurts more. So they're starting to open up about your connection. They're not so worried about what others would think anymore. They're not so protective, because things have changed major in these connections. So that could be third-party situations, legal matters, financial matters. It's important to say that the masculines will typically hold back if they're afraid that there could be ramifications. And so sometimes feminines, their rejection is your protection. If you've been too hormonally charged or too lust-based or too obsessed with them, and they've had to tell you anything to put the brakes on for your own good, they will have had to say those things. That's in part. Sometimes they do it because they've got the insecurities, or they've got situations that it's just too much pressure, or they're too exhausted, or that kind of thing, or that awkward energy with the divine gag order. Nonetheless, we're moving through this. This is a purple card, which is divinely guided. It's crown chakra intel, connection to source. So the masculines are starting to feel like they don't have to watch their back with what they say about these connections anymore. That we are now free to love openly, to love really, truly in the moment, for others to see. It doesn't matter so much what gets back to anybody else or how others are going to interpret it. There's just more self-permission to be real here. Things are getting real. Feminines, keep doing the inner work. This is the card of specialization. This is you grounding it by you making the choices to spit polish your intentions. Your yeses being your yeses, your no's being your no's. The things that really do mean a lot to you, acknowledging that without resistance, celebrating the love, being grateful. The universe is hardwired to give you more of what you're grateful for. Let me say that again. The universe is hardwired to give you more of what you're grateful for. Yeah, I'm ready to go deep. And you? Beautiful. Okay, many blessings, everyone. Bye for now.